Alrighty, okay. Thymesia. I tried Google pronouncing the name of this game, and I kept getting the different pronunciations. Thymesia. I'm not sure how you want to pronounce it, but you get the gist. Reviewed on the Xbox Series X. We have a entire page of notes to go through. I do have my review breakdown template that we like to go through. I'm just going to load that up right now. I'm not going to see chat because obviously the template's right in my face, but yes. Digital price $24.99. This game was gifted by the amazing CrownClownEDD, who is somewhere in chat, or he's gone for a shower. So just a massive thank you for sponsoring the stream in a way and providing me the game to do a review on. Peggy 16, as I said, digital price $24.99. You can acquire the Xbox and PlayStation 5 physical copy for around $22.85 from where I usually get my games, which is a little bit cheaper. But I did see that you can buy the PC digital version of this game for $15.85, which just completely... that irritates the crap out of me, to be fair. It really does. The console players have to pay £25, the PC players $15.85, and I just think that there's a massive jump between those two prices. But okay. The game was published by Team 17, same people that did Worms. If you're an old school retro player like myself who played Worms on the PlayStation, you'll know exactly who they are. Developed by Overboard Studios. It's a single player story. It's a hybrid between, I like to say, Bloodborne and Sekiro, with the parrying system that's in play. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through the review template first, and then we'll hit up on the notes. I've pretty much covered some of the notes already in everything I've just talked about. So the very first thing we always look into is the choice of music used. If you are a Souls player and you've pretty much played, like I said, Bloodborne and Dark Souls, you know those type of games tend to have incredible opera type, like classical, really good music. And this game kind of follows suit, to be fair. It does have incredible music throughout the game. We did encounter a terrible, and I mean absolutely game-breaking, horrible audio bug on the last boss that kept looping every time we hit the boss itself, and that annoyed me so much that I went into the options and muted the music, which didn't work. The music came back, and though the music was muted, the game kept playing it over and over and over again, and it was painful to bear. It really was. A simple patch or a simple a game update will hopefully fix that, iron that, and prevent it and get rid of it, because that was the killer. Throughout the rest of the game, I was loving it, but that there really irritated the hell out of me. And I went on forums to have a look, and it is a known problem. There are a lot of people talking about this on Reddit. So again, a patch update should fix the problem. Other than that, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The effects and the voice acting. Now, the effects are fantastic. They sound absolutely great. But in terms of voice acting, there is no real voice dialogue in this game. There is a couple of grunt noises, couple of cutesy-wootsy noises, but there's no actual speaking dialogue. And I believe that is a massive missed opportunity in this game, because there is a lot of reading to do with the documents that you find, and when you do speak to the NPCs or talk to the NPCs, it's a mute dialogue and you just have to read the text. And I think missed opportunity there. I prefer, honestly, just to listen to something instead of reading it. Reading gets overly used and just boring for me, so I prefer to listen to it. But that is a me thing. That might not reflect on how you feel about it, but I feel this game would have been better if it was voice acted, and it would have reflected better within the game. Just my opinion. The graphics, texturing, weather effects. This game is 11.7 gig on the Xbox Series X. It's S and X enhanced. This game itself can't be played, if I'm right, on the older Xboxes. But for 11.7 gig, this game is around about 15 to 18 hours long, with 5 areas to visit, and they looked fantastic. Very, very Bloodborne like as well. Very, very Bloodborne. Very dark, bloody, poisonous, spooky, plague type atmospheres, and it works very, very well for the game itself. It really does. Unfortunately, you end up revisiting a lot of these areas because, like I said, there are only 5. You get side quests during your story, which basically takes you back to the same location again to continue exploring. So there isn't a vast amount of areas that you can visit. But again, for 11.7 gig, the game looked graphically beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and I can't fault it in any way at that point. Texturing, weather effects, and character models, glitches and bugs. Oh, this is a good one. Weather effects. There was foggy atmosphere, toxic gas, foggy atmosphere itself, but the game didn't really cater to a weather system like rain, snow, and stuff like that. So we just pushed that aside. Character model designs. The character that you have looks fantastic. The enemies that you fight, they look fantastic. The abilities that you use and the light show that goes on it, like all the glowing of the weapons and the special effects and stuff like that, all of that looked absolutely fantastic, and I can't fault that at all. I thought that 10 out of 10 for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Glitches and bugs, there are quite a bit. The most common issue that I found in the game is the enemies would clip through the walls. Even during executions, the models of the character, because when you do an execution, it turns into like a little cinematic itself. But the enemy or you would get clipped into the wall, so you couldn't really see the execution that well, and that should never ever be a thing at all. Wall clipping should never be a thing, not with a game like this. And that was quite disappointing to see, because it happened in all the areas of the game, and it happened a lot. Because as you would push an enemies back towards the wall and then get the execution on them, it would then clip the enemy straight into the wall, and you see your character attacking the wall, even though it's supposed to be attacking the enemy that's there. So that needs polishing quite heavily, and I don't know if it's able to be polished in something like that, because that would require a lot of work to be redone within the structuring of the levels and the model designs as well. So that might take just way too much effort for them. I don't know, but that's what I think. Gameplay and mechanics. The gameplay plays very, very similar to, as I said, Bloodborne and Sekiro. And what it takes from Bloodborne is obviously the plague dynamic, the atmosphere, the scenery. What it takes from Sekiro is the parrying system and the deflect system. This game relies on you to be very, very responsive with your controls. You need to be on point very, very, very quickly, because your window to parry enemies is very, very small. The game does give you a perking system, a talent system, and you can put talent points into increasing the time in which you can do the deflect, but it decreases the damage done during that deflect, so you'll end up doing it more and more and more and more. So I would say just practice and practice and practice until you get comfortable, until you're able to learn the enemy movements and the boss movements, and to figure out at the right time to deflect, because you have to do it. You can't get through the game without using the deflect system, because that is how you take away their health and kill them, pretty much. So good luck, because I really suck at it. I'm getting a lot older, so my response times are a lot slower, and I've noticed that throughout this game. But yes, if you are a god at parrying in Dark Souls, and if you are a Sekiro master at deflecting, then you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. So go for it and knock yourself out. Replayability and game difficulty. To be honest, there isn't a huge amount of replayability in this. We managed to pull through the game at 30 out of 37 achievements. We quickly looked through the achievements that we missed, and they're all just recipes and just small knickknacks to do and collect, which will not take me long whatsoever. I could do that in a couple of hours and I'll 100% the game. There are 5 endings throughout the story. I don't like the way that you have to get them, and you will end up Googling it or researching it, because it is the only way to learn how to figure out how to get all 5 endings in the game. I'm not going to say anything more about them, because my reviews are as spoiler free as possible, but good luck on trying to figure out your endings. Just good luck. Game difficulty, as with any Souls game, yes, the game difficulty does gradually increase. But like I said, if you can master the parrying, the deflecting system in this game, and you can get really good, and I mean absolutely god tier like good, then the game's going to get easier for you, because you can perk yourself out to be a destructive deflector and zap away the enemy's health so quickly that they will enter second stages quite quickly and you'll kill them. Like I said, it all centers around that specific system itself. There are a good amount of spell weapons. I use that spell weapons that you get, because your main hand and your offhand, the dagger and the sword, they never change. You have them throughout the entire game. What you unlock throughout the game are spell weapons, like a scythe, like dual blades, like whips, spears, lances, shields, and all that lot. So if you want to add all of those spell weapons into your armory, then yeah, there is a really good mixture of weapons that you can play around with. You can find out which one works best for you and your play style, because there are some very aggressive abilities, there are some very defensive abilities that you can use to tank and spank your way throughout the game. I tested them all out as I unlocked them. I found my favorites. I found what worked for me and my play style, and I went with that. They do a healing system, just again like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, where it's not like an Estus flask or you're stabbing yourself in the leg with an injector needle. You create alchemy potions, and every time you rest at what we always call like a bonfire in Dark Souls is a chair. You just sit down on a chair. It's so generic. You sit on a chair. It refills your drinks, but it resets all the enemies within the area. Not the special enemies though. The special enemies only respawn when you leave the area and come back to the area, and it loads it all up completely. So again, it plays seriously similar to Dark Souls Bloodborne. Reset the area, you grind your level, they're not called souls, they're called memory shards, and you can absorb them to spec out your character to make him stronger in certain stats, catering to your type of build again. What I did like about the potion system is that you could add extra ingredients to the potions, the alchemy drinks, and you could basically buff up those flasks. You could drink and then gain defense, extra defense. You could drink and gain health over time, or energy over time. What I didn't like about the system is that if you combine 3 specific ingredients together, it will give you a bonus recipe that gives you an additional buff. But it doesn't save that sort of recipe system in the game. So if you accidentally change the ingredients that you're using, you have to figure it all out again and try to find it. And I didn't like that. But I've got that in the notes and we'll talk about that more. The customization and stats building, already gone through that. There isn't any costumes to change your outfit. With like Dark Souls, you can change your whole outfit. In Bloodborne, you can change your whole outfit, and you can customize your looks. This game, you pretty much go throughout the whole story wearing the exact same setup. Story, if applicable, this game is heavily story ridden. But for me, it wasn't as clean, cut and dry and simple. It was a bit confusing. Even though I've completed the game and got all 5 endings, it's still a little bit confusing, and I still don't understand 100% the plot. I really don't. I get a bit of it, but this is exactly what I'm like with Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I've completed those games hundreds of times. I still don't fully understand the lore. I really don't. And I don't think I'm going to understand the lore of this game, no matter how many times I play it, unless I go online and read a full-length lore breakdown of exactly everything. That's the only way I'm probably going to be able to do it. If you are able to play this game and understand the lore like that, then good on you. But for me, it was like the other Souls games. I get some of it, but not all of it. Online co-op modes, features and stability, ignore that, because there's none of it. None of it at all. It's a single player game only. You can't invite your friends, you can't summon someone in to help you, you can't summon NPCs in to help you. This is all you. And that's it. You're on your own. Good luck. That is it. Purchase price versus digital price and value of content. We've already gone over the prices itself, but ultimately, do I feel value of content is there for the average price of £25? Yes, I do. I really do. For £25, I think this game is worth every penny. And I have a suck sweet in my mouth, sorry, because I'm trying to not get a sore throat. But for £25, I believe value of content is 100% there. Any additional notes and microtransactions? There is no microtransactions. Thank you. But we will go over any of the notes that I've pretty much written down that we haven't talked about. I do like the fact that you can learn and unlearn your traits. Very, very important in case you feel you've made a mistake, especially your skills. You can actively sit in any of the chairs and untick which ones you want and tick which ones you want without the cost of anything. You can just freely do it. And I freaking love that, because there are so many different builds that you can go for. Spend time finding the right build for you. That's all I can say. This is... At the very beginning of the game, while I was exploring one of the levels, I felt the camera pushing against me, where I was trying to look left and right and the camera auto-steered itself. And it was driving me up the bloody wall. It was the most annoying thing throughout this entire game. They have 2 turn-off features that you can turn off with auto cameras and stuff, and it still didn't 100% stop it. And I'm sorry, but if you watch back through my streams on Trovo, you'll hear me every few hours or so complaining about the bloody camera fighting me to turn. I got hit by enemies because I was trying to turn the camera and the game was fighting me, and I couldn't fully turn it properly, and I was getting clipped by enemies. This, I don't know what you've done with this, but this needs urgent fixing. It is the most annoying and game-breaking mechanics within its game, and turning off the auto camera settings didn't stop it completely. I don't know what you've done there, but please fix it, because I know I am not the only one. Again, I went on Reddit and had a look, and it is another problem that a lot of people are fighting. They said that they turn off the settings and still the camera turns itself. The camera should never turn itself unless it's a cutscene or a point of interest, but you're looking at it anyway. Health restored on enemies when out of range. A lot of the enemies have a invisible grid around them. Some very, very small. If the enemy is taken outside of that grid, in other words, if you're retreating to heal, the enemy will mass heal super fast. So you could spend a minute chipping away at a very tough enemy's health bar. You retreat backwards to heal, the enemy runs out of its area, and then it starts healing itself all the way to the top. Very quickly too. Turn that off, please. Remove that feature. Get rid of it. It is horrible, annoying, and just not fair whatsoever, especially with the tough NPCs that take a while to beat up. Because sometimes you retreat backwards to heal, not realizing you've gone a little bit too far, and all that work gets reversed when the enemy gets all of its health back. Potion details don't show herb effects. There's a big black box that comes up when you highlight your potion. And it's just a waste of space. They could have easily put the effects that potion has with the herbs that you've put into that big black box. Something small, not knocking points off because of it, but it's just something small that they can easily add to add extra flavor to the game. The levels, it would be nice if the levels showcased the number of collectibles and documents within its level. Being a collection freak, that would have helped me, because I know I'm missing 4 documents throughout the whole game, and knowing exactly which level they're a part of would help me go back and go find them. If not, I'd have to then Google it or just re-explore the game again and try and find those additional documents. Too much clipping with executions, we've already talked about, and the end game boss music looping and bugging. Yes, we've already talked about. We've already talked about that. All in all, I really enjoyed playing the game. I really, really, really did. The biggest negatives for me are, like I said, the enemy clipping, the camera auto-turning itself, and you can't turn that crap off, and the looping boss music that got really annoying really fast, like super fast. Alongside with some of the small, just little things that I mentioned as well, I still thoroughly enjoyed the game. I really did, and that's just coming from someone who really enjoys soul-type games. All in all, I'm pretty happy and confident to score the game an 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair scoring. I think it definitely needs polishing, especially with the enemy clippings as well, which is pretty bad. But overall, like I said, I really enjoyed the game, and like I said, I'm happy scoring the game an 8 out of 10. That's me, my opinion, documented 8 out of 10. Bubble. But yeah, let me know comments down below. What do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm harsh? Do you think I'm too soft on the game? Giggity. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. But thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Take care. Bye-bye.